Here we go. I feel like there's a good chance you guys can hear me now. That little. Oh my goodness. Okay, if you guys are joining me live, please let me know that you can hear me. If not, we will discover it in the replay. Just going to wait just a moment. Hello, hello. Hopefully, you can hear me. Please let me know in the chat if you're joining live and you can actually hear me. Fingers crossed that you can. Yay, there's sound. Oh, yay. Okay. I think that there was something that was going on with the microphone, but I'm glad that you can hear me. So I will just give you a quick rundown of what's happening. I feel like we need to cleanse again. I feel like we're going to be spending the week really feeling like we need to cleanse. I feel like for most of you, there's going to be even more so than others. And a big part of that is because here we go. A big part of that has to do with not just the fact that we're leading up to Easter, but also the fact that it's sort of like everybody's kind of buzzing. Like there's a sense of like, let's do spring cleaning, let's cleanse this, let's cleanse this. And even as we're leading up to the full moon in and of itself has that energy about it where you kind of start reevaluating. Even about a week before, you might be already kind of feeling like you start reevaluating sort of what's working, what's not working, how things are going for you. And so when you're combining that with Easter, Easter energetically already feels really packed. It's a really jam packed energy of just how people behave during especially when there's get-togethers, and then you're putting so many different energies together into like you're cramming it into one place, and then you're adding the full moon on top of that. I would love to say that it's going to be light and airy, and maybe it will be for some of you. It absolutely will be. It really just depends on where you are on your journey, but I definitely feel like it's going to be an interesting one. A lot of things are going to be highlighted, and the thing that has been coming through day in and day out, at least for the last week, is boundaries. Now, when we're talking about boundaries, most of us just think say no, or just differentiate yourself or create space between you and the thing and you and the people. And it's like, no, setting boundaries does not mean that you avoid the people and you avoid the difficulties. Setting boundaries means that you know what is for you, what is not for you, what you allow into your space, and what you really don't. However, one of the biggest tests, and most people will hate this, one of the biggest tests is actually not avoiding the people that trigger you the most, but can you sit within that? And it's always an invitation of, can you sit within that space when you're around people that are so different than you, that are not resonating with you at all, or they have different belief systems, or whatever, right? Like the people that trigger you the most are going to be one of your biggest teachers. And seeing that, can you stay in neutrality and can you maintain your composure during all of these different energies? Because there's something to be said when you place a tree in the wind and it still maintains its integrity versus when you're when it's just clear skies. So that's kind of what I mean. That's sort of what I'm getting when it comes to boundaries. There's also this invitation to really understand abundance and fun on like this whole other level. So it's this invitation of just taking time and prioritizing fun and prioritizing the things that really light you up just as much as you're prioritizing your to-do list or prioritizing, cleaning your bathroom or, doing your spring cleaning. While all of those things are fine and they're important, but then this other aspect of your life is also very important. And if you're not prioritizing it and if you're just letting it pass by, then you're kind of missing the point. Like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of working? What's the point of really being here if you're not allowing anything that could light you up to come in and really shine, right? And fill you up. So it's sort of like you're living by the beach, but then you never go to the beach. Like it's like kind of redundant. And then the other thing is to really just an invitation for really recognizing the beauty around you and really recognizing all of the things that are already in your existence, because the more you kind of place your attention to the things that bring you beauty and elegance and peace and harmony, the more you're inviting that into your space. So those were some of the channeled messages that were kind of coming through in like the last week. Boundaries have been a really big theme, I feel like, for the last little bit. We're leading up to the full moon in Libra as of next Saturday, which will be on the 16th. So as we're leading up to that, I think that most of you will be feeling that more intensify. Light workers, if you are a light worker, you're definitely going to be feeling that there's definitely going to be not only triggers come through, but like tests of how do you feel about what is your relationship to abundance? What do you find abundant? And what does it like what does all of that mean, and I think that in and of itself can be a really big conversation, and you don't have to fix it all right now, but just kind of pay attention to how you feel on a day-to-day basis, and can you sit within the uncomfortableness when you do get triggered. That was sort of like the main thing, and really reframe the way that, well, we're going to talk a little bit more about this idea of alignment and abundance, but then also support, of how you place support, because that was also another theme that was kind of coming through in the last couple of days. Let's pull some cards. Let's take a look at what is coming up for the collective. And I also have to, before I do that, actually, I was just looking at that. Carol Ann Tracy, if you're watching this on the replay, this reading is going to be for you. And really, our main focus of today's reading is going to be, where do you need to let go? Because sometimes it's nice when we can get some clarity around what we actually need to let go of. The world. I feel like, excuse me, sort of like it's sort of like you're invited to shift. So, what you need to let go of is that you are kind of holding control of all aspects of your life. So, not so much, I'm not really getting this whole thing on just flip it upside down and have like this positive mindset. That's not what I'm getting. I'm getting that you need to shift from, if you've been really paying attention to your money, shift it towards fun. If you've been paying more attention to the things that, like the creative outlets or the relationships in your life, just shift from one category, just shift over just a little bit. Because I feel like if you don't, you're going to be missing out on something. You might be missing the mark on what spirit is really asking you right now. Is you're entering into this new season, this new phase, and in order for that to happen, you also, it's sort of like you're shifting gears. Excuse me. So the idea behind this is, what element are you tapping into, and then that will also determine what is like your ruling element. So I would kind of take a look at your chart and see where Libra kind of falls within your chart, where Aries falls within your chart. So I would be really interested in seeing that, because then it's sort of like you're here, this is sort of like you're dominating. So if you find that the element water, so like you've been really in touch with your emotions, it's just asking you to just like pivot a little bit, so that it'll it'll serve you just a little bit more if you do pivot from one category to the next, whether that's a category as in you're pivoting from focusing so much on your creative outlets into your relationships. Like one area of your life is going to need your attention a little bit more than another. So just keep that in mind. I forgot to bring in an oracle card, and I always kind of feel like that's an important part. If you are joining me